Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, and here with another episode of Ask Dave. Today we're going to take a look at the July 2019 Reno, Nevada convention, which is a hamfest with all the usual trimmings such as seminars and exhibitor booths and a swap meet and all that sort of thing that takes place in Reno, Nevada every year. This also was an official ARRL section convention and is a pretty neat thing. I enjoyed my time there very much. It took place at a big casino to the west of Reno called Boomtown. I guess that's because your finances go boom every time you try to go in there. Anyway, they have a very nice event center, and that's where this was held. There were also nice restaurants around that we could go to for lunch and so on. And on Saturday, they held a flea market out in one of the parking lots. The event attracted quite a few people. Mostly from eastern California in the Sierra Nevada region, and also, of course, throughout Nevada itself. One thing that I really liked about it was that they were trying hard to appeal to young people, and even had a session where scouts, both male and female, scouts could get their radio merit badge, and they were successful at that. So a lot of things went on. I had a chance to talk to a lot of the vendors, attend several of the seminars, and enjoyed the swap meet. It was a great convention. It was nice to travel to Reno, although I will admit Reno is rather warm in the summertime. It is July in the desert after all. Not too far away is Lake Tahoe and places like that, although I did not take the opportunity to go to see them. What was really nice about it is my wife was able to travel on to the East Bay area in California and see an old friend she hadn't seen in quite a while. So that worked out very well for them. So I have some slides today. We'll take a look at those. Before we jump into the slides, just a quick reminder to remember to like this video and to share it and subscribe. And if you subscribe, click the bell so you'll get notifications. Also, if you'd like to support this channel so that I can continue bringing you these and going to more hamfests and swapfests around the country like Dayton, and I hope to go to Duke City and to PacificCon this year, please click on this link. It's dkassler.com/support. And there are a variety of ways of doing that now. Enough said about that. Let's dive into the slides. Here's fellow YouTuber Bob Brodowski at the Reno NVCON entrance table paying his $5 entry fee, good for both days. This was the first time Bob and I met, and we had a great time together. His channel, K6UDA Radio, the ham radio show your mother warned you about, takes a less technical approach to videos than my channel, Ham Radio Answers. Your entry fee also entered you into the drawing, and you could buy more tickets if you wished. They held drawings during both days, plus there was a closing reception where they gave away the grand prize, an ICOM 7300, a very, very popular radio right now. On the left here is Don, W7SSB, one of the organizers of the event and the one who invited me to attend. Carl, KI6TRA, the owner of Chameleon Antenna. Bob, K6UDA. Me, KE0OG, and John, N7JDM, General Manager of Chameleon Antenna. Now we take a quick whirl of the vendor booths. Seated here at the MFJ booth, Howard Nurse, the designer of the MFJ 1234 RigPi remote controller, talks with another ham. And by the way, I just received an MFJ 1234 from MFJ, and I will be reviewing that shortly. Here's the Chameleon Antenna booth. The day prior to this picture, I visited the Chameleon factory in Sparks, Nevada, and recorded it in Ask Dave number 210, released last week. They have a fascinating story to tell, so be sure to catch that video. Here's the hub of Chameleon's equivalent of the MFJ octopus antenna. The hub is solidly made and fits ham sticks from several manufacturers. Here are more products from Chameleon's factory, including some not yet ready for general availability. I will be testing some of these in future videos. Here's a set of Chameleon's products for portable antennas, complete with a backpack. ICOM was the only major radio manufacturer to attend. The ICOM booth was busy during the entire event. ICOM's big draw right now is its 7300 HF transceiver. It's marketed as a first radio for new generals, but the radio itself goes a long ways beyond that. It's a fully software-defined radio. I did a couple videos on the radio, Ask Dave numbers 200 and 201. Check them out. It's an impressive radio. While many booths simply displayed wares, the ham radio outlet booth was quite willing to sell you one. I saw more than one person with an ICOM 7300 under their arm. They also did a brisk business in handhelds, antenna analyzers, and other paraphernalia. Peter, KE7VSR, gave the presentation on Army Mars, which I attended. He's standing here in front of the Bio-NO power booth, where they had lots of lithium iron phosphate batteries on sale. These batteries weigh only about a third what the equivalent sealed lead acid battery would weigh, plus they hold their voltage up across their entire discharge cycle and can be cycled more times. The price reflects this, with a 100 amp hour battery selling for over $800. Here's quite the booth by High Tech Liquidators, also known as Northwest Radio. They had some used equipment for sale, including several HF rigs, but most of what I saw was an endless series of small bins with even smaller parts. I picked up a BNC to SMA converter for a couple bucks. If you needed a connector, it was probably in one of those bins. Here's Ventenna showing a single product, a portable HF vertical antenna with some roll-up radials. It was $300 or $400. While not outlandishly expensive, it also isn't cheap. Several other vendors offer portable antennas in a similar price range. Here's another single product vendor selling replacement power supplies for two classic Kenwood rigs, the TS930S and TS940S. I'm guessing the OEM power supply is a bit fragile if someone can make a living selling replacements for this particular power supply. Impulse Electronics has a wide variety of goodies. On Impulse, I purchased a USB programmable fan. By programmable, I mean it has a cute display as shown here. The programming software comes on a small CD-ROM. My current computer doesn't have a DVD drive, so I'll have to figure out how to download this software. ICS Controllers sells Raspberry Pi-based Pi repeater controllers. They had a few version 4 Raspberry Pis there, so I got one of those for future experimentation. The Rig Expert booth was a popular one, especially since the person behind the table gave one of the seminars. They sell nice high-end antenna analyzers, more accurately known as vector network analyzers. I hope to test one of these someday. This booth had several new Anytone D878UV radios for sale, both with and without Bluetooth. For the same price, you can purchase the radio from Bridgecom Systems and get meaningful support. Wired Communications had this huge booth right across from the entry. I picked up some connectors here too. These folks had an old 1960s Sony reel-to-reel tape recorder and were using it to play music from that era. I'll admit I heard many favorites. Also fitting into that era was this lava lamp in perfect working order. Their booth also had an endless supply of a variety of LED lamps for sale. This booth, also just inside the entrance, sold a variety of bags, presumably to hold people's go-kits. On Saturday morning, NVCON's second and final day, they held a swap meet in one of the casino parking areas. It was well attended and some great equipment could be had. The sheer variety of items for sale was amazing. Some of the equipment really brought back memories. This eclectic collection even included tower sections. The Sierra Nevada Amateur Radio Society, or SNARS, had a booth with information about the club. Here's a ready-to-go go-kit based on the venerable but still useful ICOM 706 Mark II-G. ICOM was the first to manufacture an HF/VHF/UHF radio in the same form factor as a VHF/UHF mobile radio. The rig became an instant classic. Interestingly, ICOM no longer manufactures HF, VHF, UHF radios in this form factor, but Yaesu makes several. These small form factor radios are great for portable use, though the small front panel size doesn't give much space for buttons and knobs. Hence, many functions are accessed through menu settings. Oh, what a display of beautifully restored Heathkit equipment. That's a Mohawk HF receiver on the left and a matching Apache transmitter in the center. Other Heathkit station equipment is shown, including the somewhat rare Heathkit SSB adapter, which, oddly, has the same form factor as the old Central Electronics pioneering SSB equipment. By the way, for comparison, the black Kenwood atop the Apache to the right is a much more modern HF rig and takes up far less space. That Kenwood certainly isn't available as a kit, however. Talk about memory lane. The rig in the middle is a Heathkit HW16, often known as the Hot Water 16. This was my novice rig back in 1975, a college graduation present from my folks. It's crystal controlled and CW only. Later, I added the box shown on the top, an HG10 tunable VFO. Oh my! I had hundreds of QSOs with this same rig. Now, the bottom HW16 looks like it has been rather heavily modified. Modifications such as these may give satisfaction to the one who creates the mods, but most people want to buy equipment that is pristine, or at least hasn't been modified. So these mods actually reduce the value of the radio. Lots of stuff here. You have to look pretty closely to spot the bargains. You'll find almost anything at a swap meet, including this weird gear assembly. This table has more recent gear for sale, including a few HF rigs. An issue with buying an HF rig at a flea market is that you don't really have a way to test it. If you're going to purchase used equipment, it's best to have a more experienced ham who can test out the equipment before you make a purchase decision. Here's some computer gear. Floppy disks, anyone? Here's more HF equipment covering several decades of ham radio history. I conclude the slideshow with this view of the special event station W7TA. That's a pretty high-end radio they have there, an Elecraft K3S with pan adapter. Nice station. Well, that was my experience in Reno. I enjoyed it. I got to meet lots and lots of different people. If you have a hamfest near you, you should plan on making sure that you're there. A lot of events just last a morning. In fact, our own swapfest, which is the first Saturday in June, is usually a pretty small, tight-knit affair, as this picture shows. So again, please make sure that you like the videos, subscribe, do all those good things, and until we next meet, 73.